It's amazing the opportunities that your church has in engaging an intern for one of the United Pentecostal Church Bible colleges.
And we have actually been blessed to have strengthened our internship program in the past few years. And in fact, we've had whole districts partner with us. We had the Maryland, D.C. district, and the past few years, the Alaska, Yukon district. And they've actually taken numbers of our young people, and they will have them working in churches. And so we've done it where we sent large groups to areas, or we can send individuals to churches. We just did that this past summer as well. We sent several individuals to churches. We run that through our Dean of Students at Christian Life Colleges, Brother Richard Bishop. And we try to become an advocate for the student, because they're going to be going, and their expectation is they're going to serve your church in ministry roles for this summer. And we, tell them, you're going to go and serve. You're going to get your hands dirty. You're going to do whatever that church needs you to do. You're going to knock doors. You're going to vacuum if you have to. You're going to help set up for youth service. You're going to, whatever needs to be done. We let them know this is going to be a summer of service. And we try to make it as formal as we can. There's going to be an 8 to 10 week period that they're going to be doing this. They're going to give up their summers. And the understanding is, and we work this out with having permission of each student's pastor, that they can go work at this other church, this intern situation, if their pastor's agreeable to that. We then create this understanding that the pastor, that church, will provide the down payment for them for the next year. And that typically comes out to about $2,500. And then they will give a $50 a week stipend. Now, this is the formal arrangement. We have some that are less formal. This is what we've done with the Alaska district and different ones. And it's a tremendous benefit, because these churches get these incredibly hard workers who are just waiting to take what they've learned in the classroom and to apply it in a very real world setting. And it gives our students the incentive to go work. They come back, their down payment is paid for. One of our big goals is that students will graduate from Christian Life College debt-free. So we purposely keep our tuition low. Well, students usually work throughout the summers to gather in their down payment, those that need to do that. So this allows them to do a work for God, and then their down payment is covered through this internship program. Now, some smaller churches are not able to do that, and that's where we customize it. We'll send students, maybe it's a shorter period of time, or we will work out just financial arrangement different. But that is the typical arrangement that we set up on behalf of our students. And it's been very positive for us. Our students come back and they feel like that's been a huge part of their Bible college experience, to get out there in the real world. Some of our students that came back from Alaska last year, some of these very remote churches, were just speaking about, they didn't learn this in Bible college. It's on-the-job training. And so we want to keep promoting this, because we want our students not just to get the classroom, we want them to get that real-world experience. Because, here at Christian Life Center, it's obviously a larger congregation, and sometimes that can create a concept that ministry is going to be one certain way. But the reality of it is, when you go in and you're digging out a church, if it's a home missions church, there's a lot that's involved in that. We want our students to be exposed to that. So you can contact us, Brother Richard Bishop will set that up. And so we have the very formal system, and then we can also do an informal internship depending on the needs and the availability of funds of that local church.
Okay. Brother Carter, how they contact you for internship?
Well, we would have a form to fill out on our website for those that are interested in internship. But before that process ever comes to pass, whenever a student enrolls at Texas Bible College, there's a pastor confidential report that is filled out by the pastor. And one of the questions that we include in that confidential report, we say to the pastor, often a student is given an opportunity to do internship. Would you be willing for this student to receive information, yes or no? And if there is a no, we don't even make it available, because we really believe that as I've heard Brother Monney and Brother Lopez say, that Texas Bible College is going to work with that pastor. And so if that pastor gives the approval for that student to go, then that student may have many opportunities that will come into their mailbox, but every one of those have to go before their pastor for approval. So once that takes place, then we do explain to the pastor that will use that student for internship that the student will need that down payment, as Brother Lopez mentioned. In our case, it's about $2,000 that helps them to get the down payment necessary to start for their tuition for the fall semester. And once that student is there on site, they will work with that pastor probably for about an 8-week period of time. And so that gives them time to come back to the school in the fall. I want to mention that our internship program is more getting off the ground under my administration, not to say that past administrators did not have it, but one thing that we are also including, we just recently had our new North American Mission Director, Scott Sistrunk, begin a course called Church Planning. And it's our desire to be able to see students go out from the junior year to the senior year and actually work with some church planning works and get funded through districts to be able to make that happen. And then to be able to come back into their senior year. And then I want their eyes on the field as they look in their senior year to the field. And Brother Sistrunk has said that any student that completes the course for launch will say get head of the line privilege to be able to go out and start in church planning ministries. So that's a new program, and it's really his desire to get the courses developed and then make it available for all the Bible colleges.
Great. Brother Monney, you want to share about the IBC internship program?
Yeah, I think we're probably about a ditto on all of that. But we do really try to work very, we synchronize with the pastor, with that student's pastor. But there's another little element, I'm sure that all the other schools do the same thing. We kind of watch out for the student to make sure that some pastors will kind of solicit for a student, but they don't have a real good plan for them. That can be very discouraging. On the other hand, if a student gets to the right place, it can be one of the most exciting experiences in their lives, and they're ready to go. So if we can get the pastor together and then kind of make sure, Brother Carter, I'm sure you must feel the same way, where you're making sure that student's going to a place where a pastor is going to invest some time in the student, because we want them to have a good summer as well. But it's a great program, and so we really emphasize the summer work and sometimes camps. I know some of the students also are working with camp, and they work with children at district camps and stuff like that. That's very good too.
Sure. Okay. Brother Seth.
Yes, we have had several opportunities for our students to go and do internships, echo all of the same things that the presidents have said, and we do our best to work with the student's home pastor, making sure before the student ever is offered an internship that it is indeed what their pastor would like, and that their pastor would be okay with them going out in the summer rather than going home. And we've had some interesting opportunities where students have been able to go to churches and kind of build something and leave it behind, in the sense that they've worked with young people in music or in getting their youth group kind of a little bit more solidified. And when that student leaves, there's something kind of left behind with their fingerprints on it. And it's a blessing to the church, of course, and it's a blessing to that student to see that there's something that they can say they had a hand in helping create. And so one student went, and by the time he was done, there was a youth band that had been put together. He had taught them how to play and how to lead worship. Another young lady, she was working with a youth group, and it was great timing that she was there, and there was a few things that had gone on in the youth group, and she was able to help them through that, still very connected with all of them. And so we've had those opportunities in the past little while, and we are working to structure our internship in a better way. And we've been doing mostly informal arrangements where we'll work with the pastor and the student on the financial end of things and the plan that is laid out for the summer. And we're developing a program now where there'll be a structure of check-ins and meetings and just kind of making sure that everything is in line, and that should hopefully be all done and ready to go in the next 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Now, I didn't make a disclaimer before starting, so I probably should. I am a board member of the Apostolic Bible Institute and work with Seth GIllet. And I have a set of twins, Matthew and Mark, and they've been involved in internship programs. And my son Mark was involved in an interesting one. There is a cost involved in internship. These students do have a responsibility to pay a school bill. And so they, a lot of them are working their way through. They don't have government grants and large scholarships and stuff like that, like they do in the secular colleges. And so the pastor called, had a limited budget. So my son Mark, who's in music, transferred his job to that city and kept his job all summer long, and then transferred his job back. So he didn't miss a day of work. And then that minister set up a monthly payment plan to pay one semester's tuition. So for about $120 a month for a year, he was able to bring that student in and not have to write a super large check at one time. And with my son transferring his job, it made it doable. So I think all these Bible schools are creative. Don't be afraid of the finances. Start the process and then kind of work out what you can do and work together on that. Hello, my name is Hugh Plackett, and welcome to Finish Line Planning, where we help pastors who are undertaking church growth alone. It is my goal to assist pastors and lay leaders like you to optimize your growth potential in an environment of minimal time and staff. 60% of churches in North America operate with less than 100 members. Most of them require a bivocational pastor. Undertaking church growth alone can be challenging, and we're here to help. To maximize our resources and videos, we partner with church growth leaders like Carlton Kuhn, Tim Massengill, Dr. Eugene Wilson, Gary Elias, Dan Kyle, Calvin Jean, and others. To make the most of this opportunity for your ministry, church, and community, click the subscribe button here.